to another live broadcast brought to you by Premier's Turning Point, which your host, Bishop Dr. Uton Lane, and co-host, Overseer Franklin Williamson. We pray and hope that something that is being said today will bless your soul and spirit. Please take a quick moment to like and share this broadcast with your friends and family. Thank you again for joining us. Let's go into our live program.
Blessings, one and all. It's awesome to be with you this afternoon. It's an especially awesome day that the Lord has made, and we are rejoicing and being glad in it. We also give God thanks for the island of Jamaica. We're celebrating their 59th independence, and we're going to spend a little time in the second half of the program talking a little bit about freedom and justice and such like. The first half of the program, of course, as usual, we're going to spend going over some updates, and we're still probably doing some COVID-19 updates because there's still an issue where that is concerned. So we want to make sure everybody are up to speed on all of that and understand where we are, where we stand. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to make your comments either on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll pick it up right there and go on from there. So we want to make sure everybody has all the information that you need, the necessary information to protect yourself, to keep yourself safe, and also to protect others and to try to stamp out this pandemic that is still raging pretty high. So we want to just go over some information with that and making sure that you do have your up-to-date information. We want everybody to make sure you look at all the information that is out there, study everything, and then you can make a very wise decision about your plans and what you should do for yourself. So, we are here on Premier's Turning Point. We want to give information. We're not going to tell people exactly what they should do, what they must do, but we will give you what we think is the best recommendations, the best information, and then you can go from there, making your decision of how you're going to proceed. So it's really important that you have that information. It's very important that you are getting, well up to date and get the proper knowledge. And so we want to start out this eve by talking a little bit about where we are with the COVID virus, where we are with the pandemic. We want to spend a little time talking about that. And then at the end, we will come back and, we'll do our other segment. But we want to make sure you are getting all the information. And I'm seriously inviting everybody to basically get the information written down if you don't have it at your fingertip, and making sure that you're up to speed on everything that is going on. It is so important. I'm very concerned from a medical and even a family standpoint of the amount of the virus that is spreading and seem to be taking a hold again on a lot of areas in our country and all over the world. So we want everybody to understand that this pandemic is definitely not over. And you need to be aware of what is going on. You need to make sure that you are, really, up to date with the latest information. You want to make sure that as you look at the information, you're taking the right stuff and you're following. Now, I saw some alarming news this week that about half of America is now fully vaccinated. After 8 months of the U.S. vaccination effort, more than 165 million are fully vaccinated. But remember, we have 300 million plus in the country. So half of the people are now fully vaccinated against that, according to the data that was released Friday by the CDC. And this milestone does come amid a surge in the cases. And I want everybody to hear that. There's a surge in the cases caused by the Delta variant. And cases have risen 142% in the past 2 weeks. And according to NBC News tally data from the Department of Health, shows that hospitalizations are also on the rise. So we're trying to let people understand that this is, something that the Delta variant, which accounted for more than 80% of any new cases in early July, is far more contagious than the original strain. And while data shows that infections and illness among vaccinated people are rare, the variant spread caused the CDC to revise their mask guidance on July 27th, recommending that vaccinated people wear masks in areas with high COVID transmission. So areas that are high, the CDC has now recommended now that, especially if you're in this inside, that you wear masks. The case surge is most acute in states with low vaccination rates. And there is a lot of states over there that are much less than 40% vaccinated, and the rates are low. For example, the vaccination rates are still low in Mississippi or Kansas and Louisiana, where less than 40% of the population is vaccinated. So if you look across the country, we will see that the vaccination rates varies over the country. And New Jersey is up to about almost 60%. New York up a little bit, about 60% range. But there's a lot of places where the vaccination rates, in the South especially, Alabama, Mississippi, and also in Wyoming, in Louisiana, Idaho, in Georgia, in Tennessee, West Virginia, Oklahoma, North Dakota, and South Dakota. These rates in those areas are very, very low. So we want you to understand that the Delta variant of the coronavirus is still spreading quite widely, and especially amongst the people who are not vaccinated, even though we're seeing some infections on people who are even vaccinated. So you have to really be careful and be vigilant. And this is one of the reasons why we still recommend, especially if you're in a building or in a closed situation, that you make sure that you wear a mask. And it's one of those things that I know not everybody's happy with, not everybody likes it, but we still have to cut down. Now, one of the reasons I am quite concerned also is because we remember now a lot of our children who are under age 12, they don't even have an opportunity to be vaccinated. Therefore, they're at risk, and we have to be sure that we're not spreading it around. So this is one of the reasons why. I also wanted to point out a little bit as we do our coronavirus update and our active news update, the signs you have, the signs that you have the Delta variant are different from the original COVID-19, okay? One expert says if the symptoms are mild, and you could confuse the illness with allergies or just a common cold. So the reason to make that clear is that if you have any signs at all, yes, you may say, oh, it's just my allergy, oh, it's just a cold. But the Delta variant symptoms are pretty mild when they are the onset. Of course, the people who do get worse infections.
Louisiana State Health Officer Joe Cantor recently told talk radio site Odyssey.
Excuse me a second. In those areas, those people that may only have mild symptoms may actually be infected and not know it. So, of course, if you have any symptoms at all, even if you think it is just your allergies, it may make sense that you get tested and, just to rule out that this is potentially a major attack. So it's really, really, really important that everybody out there is aware that, one, the pandemic is not over. Number two, the Delta variant seems to be the most common strain that we're seeing right now. As much as 80% of the new infections that they're seeing in the U.S. seems to be related to the Delta variant. And also that the symptoms may be confusing because they may be even milder. So you may not get the high fevers, you may not get the body aches, you may not have all of that, but you still got to be careful that it could be the Delta variant, which you may, for example, have some mild symptoms, but you may potentially pass it on to somebody who may have much worse symptoms and may even find themselves in a spot where they're hospitalized or in, are in a coma, in the ICU. So that is all possible. So we really want everybody out there to be very cautious, careful, understand that, we're not, completely out of the woods, that, you still have to do, a lot of protection. So again, all the things we talked about in the past, washing your hands, sanitizing, and of course, if you're in quarters with a lot of people, close quarters, wearing a mask is very, very important. And so we really, really want to stress that, the importance of that. And even in the churches, the places, people should still, in my opinion, be wearing the mask for some protection. And even if, you may have the preacher and maybe the choir not in mask while they're speaking or singing, I think in general, we need to get in the mask and making sure that is absolutely done and people are being protected. You can see, we're seeing a lot more of the younger people being infected. And also the average age has dropped dramatically because a lot of the older people got vaccinated. So we're seeing a much bigger surge now amongst the younger age group. The average age is running in like 40 to 50. And of course, we're seeing more infections in children. And this is one of the reasons why we need to keep that protection going. Remember now that the vaccine that are available right now, we have the J&J, the Moderna, and the Pfizer vaccines that are available in the U.S. The Pfizer vaccine is actually approved for emergency use down to age 12, and then the other ones, the Moderna 18 and above, and then and as well as the J&J vaccine. So the vaccines are widely available. If you need it, you probably can just walk into any pharmacy. You can call, make an appointment. Some doctor's offices are starting to have it. So just check with your primary care physician where it is. That's a good place that you can go if you're desiring the shot. If people still have questions and are concerns about the safety, about side effects, and all of that stuff, feel free to reach out to us. We'll give you whatever information we have. What we can say as we do this kind of summation is that the vaccines all seems relatively safe. There is some side effects that people have, from tenderness of the arm to some low-grade fever, some body aches. Those are all possible. There's slight increased risk of blood clot for younger females with the J&J vaccine. But beside that, those are the major things. There's some anecdotal reports of various things and even death. Nothing have really been substantiated that would warrant that the one not taking these vaccines. If you're immunocompromised, immunosuppressed for any disease process, check with your primary care doctor, with your specialist to see if you'll be safe. You have also heard them talking now about potentially a booster, especially for people who are immunosuppressed. Listen out to hear more about that. But the bottom line is we have this pandemic on our hand. We have solutions, getting vaccinated, getting yourself protected. That's very available now. And we think everybody should be considering thinking about it and, trying to get themselves covered. So if people have any questions, thoughts, suggestions, feel free to put a comment in either on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll be more than happy to entertain those comments, have any discussion that you would like. But for the long and the short of it is the COVID-19 pandemic is still raging. As a matter of fact, in the news today that there was 100,000 new cases in the U.S. yesterday. All right, so 100,000 is not anything to sneeze at. So it is very common. As a matter of fact, I mentioned sneezing. One of the report that I just looked up is that sneezing is a very common complaint with people with the Delta variant. So, if anybody having a lot of sneezing out of character, out of your usual, yes, you may think it's your allergies, but you may want to get it checked out to make sure that everything is on the up and up. So we want people to really remain safe, remain vigilant. All right, don't drop it. I mean, I'm going places and almost everywhere we're seeing people without masks. We went for a brief time by the Middlesex County Fair yesterday, and the amazing thing there were so many newborns that people were running around with and all over the place. And the parents definitely weren't masked, I guess, because they were outside. But there were some areas where you were very close to other individuals. I mean, much less than 6 feet because the place was kind of crowded. So, I would still recommend people, if you're going to be in such close quarters with a lot of people, you may want to still consider wearing your mask. We're still waiting to hear of all the various big functions that were held over the past few weeks. Whether we have a surge, we'll sure hear more about that as well. But I mean, for each one of us as an individual, we're responsible for ourselves, yes, but I think we're also responsible for others. And as I've been reaching out to people lately, so even if you think you don't want to vaccinate just for yourself, think about others. Think about the children that may be around you. Think about the young people or anybody, especially people who may immunocompromised, immunosuppressed for whatever reason. If you pick up the virus, even though you don't get that sick, you definitely can pass it, and you're gonna less likely to pass things on and have a virulent strain if you're immunized. So that is the best protection we have available. The mask is then a second line, but it's if you're not vaccinated, you should have a mask on. And even if you are vaccinated in a large crowd with a lot of people, I would consider that high-risk setting and would also wear a mask. So we were encouraging everybody just to do this. Make sure you are taking care of business, you're protecting yourself. But you know what? If you even think not much about yourself, think about others and, do the best that we all can. And I think we'll be able to get a handle on this pandemic over the next few months. But we have to take now charge of ourselves so we can control the spread of the Delta variant, which is pretty virulent and it's pretty aggressive. It's trying to get everybody down. But I think all of us can do a great job if we be protective. And for those who have a religious reason not to get the vaccine, what I say to that group is pray, reach out to the Lord, ask Him for direction. I know God is not going to steer you wrong. He's not going to steer you wrong, but please listen when He's giving you an answer. It may be an answer that you weren't looking for because it goes against your thought process. But listen for that answer that you may even be coming to you already from the medical field and from the medical professionals. But then make yourself a decision that is going to make and change a lot of things in your life. One of the things we're seeing as we wrap up this discussion and update is a lot of travel restrictions are out there for people who are not vaccinated. And even if you're vaccinated, there is a lot of things that you have to go through. So I think that it warrants all of us to be vaccinated unless we have a reason that we think we should not be, which, again, I'll be happy to talk to anybody about that reasoning and give you as much information as we can. So you're listening to, this is Premier's Turning Point. We're just finishing up our first segment today, which is talking about the COVID-19 pandemic, and just giving an update on the status and on the need for vaccination, in our opinion, and on the need for wearing masks, also in our opinion, and on the need for protecting, sanitizing, washing hands, and being as good as careful as possible. So we want everybody to just be aware of all of this. And again, if you have any questions, any thoughts, any concerns, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy and willing to answer and to share that with you. So we thank you for joining. We're going to take just do a little commercially kind of break. We're going to talk about our upcoming events. And then we're going to follow up with our second segment today, talking a little bit about Jamaica, actually, and some, ideals. And being that it's Jamaican independence, there are 59 independents. But before we get to that, I want to, our main thing that is on our calendar, on our radar right now is our upcoming anniversary services. And we really want everybody to feel free to join us. I forgot to ask my team to have a flyer they could project it. But if they can find that and project it, that would be great. But in the meantime, I just want everybody to understand that we're expecting a mighty move of God and a blessing from God. This is going to be our 17th anniversary celebration. We're having 3 events. We're having a dedication and service on Friday the 13th at 7:30 p.m. at our location. For some people, it's our new location. It's 230 Davidson Avenue in Somerset, New Jersey. And we're going to be starting at 7:30 sharp with a dedication, and then that's just a service of celebration. We're reaching out to everyone. If you are planning to come, especially from out of town or anything, please send us an email at info@pflmi.org with your name, what church, if you're with a church, and how many people are coming, so we can make the necessary arrangement. We do want to announce that we are going to be requiring a mask for everyone, except for the person preaching, and person maybe singing for short periods of time. But we want everybody to wear their mask as we protect one another, as we've been talking about on the earlier part of the segment. So that's one of the thing. But come, expect to have an awesome and a marvelous time with us as we celebrate. Then on Saturday the 14th, we're still inviting you all to join us. We will be in the park at RV Inman Park in Somerset, New Jersey, from 2 o'clock on. Come, bring your family, your friends. This is an outside occasion, and again, your mask will be optional if you distance. So come ready just to have fun, food, and fellowship. And we want everybody to join us. And then on the 15th, that's Sunday the 15th, we will have no morning service, but we'll have our anniversary service at 4 p.m. Again at 230 Davidson Avenue in Somerset, New Jersey. Again, feel free to send us an email at info@pflmi.org if you're planning to attend, where you are, where you're coming from, how many people. Again, we are requiring a mask inside the building, and that everybody will we're going to still observe, some distancing and making sure everybody is well protected. And we're expecting to have an awesome time. But yes, I did mention on the Friday night service, our main speaker is going to be Overseer Franklin Williamson, my co-host, who's a little bit busy today. And then on Sunday, the 15th, our speaker is going to be Minister Omar Williams. All right. And we are going to expect to having a great time there as again. So come geared up, come ready. For all of our friends and our well-wishers, if you want to make a donation, even if you're not going to be present, feel free to go to pflmi.org and follow the directions there. You can make a donation. We are happy for whatever people can donate as we celebrate and as we make plans for bigger and better things. We want you to just join in with us, partner with us as well. Reach out to us if you would like to be a sustaining partner, and we will get you all that necessary information. So we really are expecting an awesome, wonderful time in the Lord in our anniversary services. And so that's by way of announcements and such like. We are getting, we want to really encourage everyone to join us and just again to inform us if you're planning to attend. Right, so that is kind of our little intermission. We're going to continue on our discussion today. And today what I wanted to talk a little bit was about Jamaica and a little bit of history. I wish my co-host was on. He's probably have a little more history. I kind of migrated when I was 17. However, the basic history I know. Right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And I want to talk a little bit about the national anthem and the significance and what it means, and actually what it means on a more spiritual level when we look at it from that standpoint. So prior to the Declaration of Independence, Jamaica was made a West Indies Federation province of the British West Indies, still under the rule of the United Kingdom. And the nation entered the Federation under the rule of Premier Norman Manley. was a prime minister who also made various constitutional amendments to allow the process of this colonization to rapidly take place. These amendments also allowed the country to have more self-governing powers and permitted the formation of a cabinet led by the prime minister at that time. Prime Minister Norman Manley's participation in the West Indies Federation was unpopular and led to the independence of the country on August 6th, 1962. And I always remember Jamaica's birthday because I'm a year older, pretty much. And the national anthem was selected in July 1962, was officially used from that date. Now, believe it or not, and actually this was interesting to me, in September 1961, the leading People's National Party announced a competition to write the lyrics of the Jamaican future national anthem, which would be judged by selected members of the House of Parliament. The competition received almost 100 script entries, and the competition closed on March 31st, 1962. And after this date, it was decided on March 17th. The House of Parliament were given two options of anthems to vote for on July 19th, and a script was chosen with an overwhelming majority. The winning script was written by Reverend Honorable Hugh Sherlock. The music was composed by Honorable Robert Lightbourne, and the anthem was arranged by Mapclef Poole and Christine Allison Poole. So that's just a quick little history. And I just wanted to spend a little time looking at the words. And I actually looked at the words, and hopefully this was a turning point for Jamaica with the changing of the guards, with the becoming independent, and also with development of this awesome national anthem that really focused on, the Lord as their guide, as their leader, as the person who they were looking to. And it starts out by saying, Eternal Father, bless our land. And, as a people, they, from the beginning, was relying on God for their blessings. Now, we see some quite similarities with even the U.S. Starting and stuff. And it said, guard us with thy mighty hand and keep us free from evil powers. Be our light through countless hours. So we see this was written with a reliance on the leading of God, that God would make the turning point in the country. So if we are led by and guided by God's mighty hand, we see how God is able to keep us free from evil powers. It says, be our light through countless hours. So whatever we're going through, as even as we move on in this life, we can learn a lot from this anthem. If we really rely on God, we can see that, we can get guidance even in the midst of darkness. And of course, we see it then asks to our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above. And we see if our leaders are being led by the Spirit and the power of God, we can expect that God can give them the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, so they know how to lead. So this is something we should keep praying for, because this will cause a turning point in Jamaica, and actually in any country, even in anybody's life. If the leaders, even for our churches, are great defenders and have wisdom from above, then justice, truth will be ours forever. And they were talking now in the hymn about Jamaica land we love. And the next verse, which also is very important, if you think about it, even for our daily lives, for ourselves as we move on through life, said, teach us true respect for all. All right. Star response to duty's call. Strengthen us the weak to cherish. Give us vision lest we perish. So we can ask God's guidance, God's teaching, God's leading And Jamaica will be a great country if they rely upon God. And us, each one of our lives actually will be strengthened because we would, if we love God, we'll have respect for one another. We won't be killing one another. We won't be, try to fight against one another. But we'll have duty call, and then we will strengthen, and we will look out for the weak. We'll cherish them, and more than all, if we are really and truly relying on God's direction, He will give us His vision and the vision for the country, for the world, for our lives. Then we will really make a great stride. Knowledge send us, Heavenly Father. Grant true wisdom from above. Again, justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica land we love. And I want to translate and correlate this anthem even to each and every one of our lives today. If we let the Lord lead us and guide us, all right, there will be a turning point in our life. There will, things may be going in a southward direction, but if we are allowing the Lord to lead, to guide, to grant us wisdom, to grant us knowledge, then you see how, there will be a turning point and a turning around. And I want for everyone listening to Premier's Turning Point and joining us to understand that this is what we're about. We're about giving you the necessary information, the necessary knowledge, that you can make awesome and wise decisions. And one of the best things that we can do for you is shall point you to Christ, point you to the Lord, just as this national anthem does, point people to rely upon God's leading and guidance and God's wisdom. And if we can help each and every one to do that, you will see how each and every life will be transformed, will be turned around. Each and every family will then be turned around. Each and every household will be turned around. Each and every church, community, island, nation, country, world will be turned around. And we'll have a massive turning point if we all turn to the Lord. So I do encourage everyone that is joining with us today as we celebrate Jamaica, a little celebration there, but to translate this anthem into our life's anthem, to where we're relying solely upon the power and the presence of God to lead us, guide us, and direct us, and to get us through the pathway where we're trying to go. And if we do that, I know without a doubt that our lives are going to be different. Our lives are going to be turned around and changed. Our families are going to be different, and everything that we do will be different. And this is my hope and my prayer, even for Jamaica, that we will focus on this anthem. I know everybody is celebrating independence and they're jumping up and down and they're dancing and prancing, which is okay. But really, when it comes down to it, we need to start looking ourselves and see, are we even living up to this anthem, that was chosen and written specifically for this purpose? And actually, I would venture to say, if we're living for Christ and, carrying out the will of God for our lives, we will actually easily, stand up to the rigors of this anthem. But I think a lot of people have just, in for the fanfare, but not for the necessarily work and the respect and thing that it takes. But I'm encouraging us that there will be today, on the 59th Independence celebration, there will be a turning point where people will turn back and look at our past, look at our history, look at even our national anthem, and pattern our lives with some purpose, having a vision of seeing God just moving in our lives and beautifying everything that we're doing. So we want everybody today to acknowledge this, accept this, and we give a great shout out to Jamaica with all the leaders, and we're praying that everyone will come to the full knowledge of who God is and let God direct their lives. I also want to invite everyone to join. There's a independence service tomorrow that the Jamaica Organization of New Jersey is putting on. And if you go to johnj.org, you will find the information there, jonj.org. You'll find the information there. Feel free to join in that service. I think is at sometime tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's 4 or 5, but you can get the information right there. And be ready to just celebrate but also to worship and to give God some blessings. So we want everybody to have an awesome rest of the weekend. Those Jamaicans, please keep it safe as you celebrate, as you jump up and down and do all that you do. Make sure you're doing it safely, and think about tomorrow. That you have to, those who have to wake up and go to work and stuff. Keep that all in mind. But with that said, make sure you give God some great glory and honor, because without Christ, even Jamaica would not be where it is today, and it's not where it wants to be. But I think if we go back to our roots, go back to that baseline, and start doing things with respect, with God's honoring God, we'll see Jamaica go to a mighty place. We see all of our lives transformed and all of our lives change. All right, so peace and justice is what we look for all. Hallelujah. We want everybody to get that, and everybody to enjoy this blessing that God has to give. So we thank you for joining us today on Premier's Turning Point. We did do our COVID, our current news update. Everybody keep that in mind. We did mention, and by way of announcement, our anniversary services at Premier Family Life. And we want you to join us. This is coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So coming up. So get ready, and join us to celebrate. So the Lord bless you today. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you. God bless you. And we'll
Turning Point family, what an awesome time we just had. To all our first-time guests, we truly appreciate you for joining our live broadcast. We would like to hear from you, so please send us your comments, questions, or testimonies of how this program has impacted your life. Our email address is info@pflmi.org. Finally, if you feel led at any time to give to this ministry, please visit us at pflmi.org and click on the tab for donations. You can also give via Cash App at $PFLMIORG. We're looking forward to meeting with you live on next week's program. Have a blessed and prosperous weekend.